I do think that there are progressives, I don't know if it's progressive policy, but progressives in places like California who have made terrible decisions. And so one of those terrible decisions is essentially doing away with anti-camping laws, right? Allowing people to camp out wherever they want, whenever they want. And if, like, we have a homeless problem in California, we have it all throughout the country, but it's particularly bad in California. And so the argument is, well, if there isn't public housing available for people, they should be allowed to camp out. Okay, but there's also a problem right now where there is public housing available and individuals will say, no, I don't want to take it. I don't want to follow the rules in the public housing. And so as a result, I would rather camp out. Progressive lawmakers are like, we should allow them to camp out. And you know what happens? Crime happens. Open air drug markets happen, and it's the truth. These are the facts of the matter. In fact, it was addressed in this Daily Beast article, and honestly, it was cathartic to read it because everyone denies that this is happening.
Hey, Dark Brandon here, and you're really not going to believe the malarkey I just ran into on the internet today. So I thought I'd just, make a video to say a few things about it. Man, I tell you, that Anna Kasparian used to be really good as part of the Young Turks. She used to be consistent and having a lot of good takes. Then something switched in her brain. A light bulb went off in her brain, and she said to herself, I'm part of what has become a very successful independent media network. I could stand to have a bad take or two. What's a couple of hits off the privileged opinion pipe gonna do? I'm just gonna have a little, as a treat. And they start looking around and they notice all these other people. They start forming these dog shit opinions about unhoused people or trans people. It's how it starts. You start thinking, wow, I'm really getting tired of stepping over all these homeless people. It's really a problem. Maybe they should arrest them, get them up off the streets. Then the next thing you know, you're listening to some hip hop and you're thinking, man, they really like to call each other that word. How come I'm not allowed to call them that word? Oh boy, and then today, March 22nd, 2023, Anna Kasparian decided to have a real doozy of a bad opinion. Ooh, she really stepped in it. Whole bucket load of malarkey, just right there in front of her. She saw it and she said, oh boy, I'm gonna step in that. That's what I'm gonna do. This is the real Steven Crowder dressing up as a woman, pretending it's for content, not because he actually really likes it. Kind of bad, Just like Charlie Kirk going live in front of a fucking camera, trying to pretend he doesn't look like a weird freak with that fucking big head and that tiny little face. Weird motherfucker. This is Ben Shapiro pulling up to work in one of those little tax cars that toddlers drive, trying to convince us all that he's 5'9", like we're actually going to believe that malarkey. It's real embarrassing like that, but I digress. Why don't we take just a minute here, a couple seconds to read her tweet and find out what it's all about. Anna writes, I am a woman. Hey, congratulations. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus. Do you not have a uterus? Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or a person who menstruates. Do you not do any of that? Or what? How do people not realize how degrading this is? Yeah, I bet it's real degrading to be told you menstruate. You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. Boy, I tell you what, I'd rather get caught trying to titty fuck my own butt cheeks on the subway than have a dog shit take like this.
I don't often agree with Anna Kasparian on most things, actually, but I think she's making a very great point here. We should take a moment to reflect and listen to what she has to say.
Man, Jordan, will you shut the fuck up? Nobody asked for the benzo-riddled opinion of a fucking great value Kermit the Frog. Now, where was I? Let's see. Oh, yeah. See, the problem with Anna's dog shit argument right there is that no one's referring to an individual as any of those things, and it's more like referring to a group of people. If you want to be more inclusive, it's actually not really that degrading to be called any of those things. In fact, I'd say if that's the worst problem you've got going on in your life, is that, someone calls you a birthing person, and maybe you don't got it so bad, But I can almost guarantee you that no one's ever referred to Anna Kasparian as a person with a uterus or a birthing person. Maybe a couple of douche bros, construction worker or something, tried to catcall her on the street, made her real pissed off, and next thing you know, they're going, "Whoa, what are you, on the rag, bitch? Juice." I can believe something like that happened, regarding, person who menstruates. But other than that, I just don't really see anybody calling her a person who menstruates specifically. And when you look in your comment section and you've got fascists and TERFs, actually, I think those two are the same thing, probably. But when you've got them agreeing with you, well, then maybe that ought to give you a little pause, You ought to stop and think about what you're really saying and who the message is really clicking with. Because when the people that you used to stand against start agreeing with you, and it ain't because they've chased their dog shit opinions or anything, or seen any sort of light, but rather because you're starting to parrot their talking points and they're starting to get real turned on by it. Well, then that means you're starting to alienate the people you used to stand with. Those people, they're not going to take too kind to that. I found one of those people on Twitter, that probably used to look up to her, used to agree with her, but now she doesn't. And I think a Twitter thread that she did, she wrote, I think that might say things a lot better than I probably could, It's a gal that goes by the name Leona, quote unquote, Bad Molly 666 Dotsky, rainbow flag, black flag, red flag, diagonal arrow, diagonal arrow, diagonal arrow, baseball. Boy, that's a hell of a name. It's really something. But she points out the fact that all Anna here is repeating recycled radical right-wing transphobic talking points in the middle of a violent wave of anti-trans legislation. Calls it disgusting yet unsurprising. Then she points out the company that Anna Kasparian's tweet is in, like Tucker Carlson or that little chicken shit weenie, Josh Hawley, that old bitch, or, Nicole Salas. She goes on to explain sometimes things aren't for you. For example, these terms aren't used to exclude women. They're used to include people who give birth, menstruate, have a uterus, etc., who do not identify as cisgender women. They're typically used in healthcare and legal settings. It doesn't matter, though, when examining it through an intersectional lens. I'm seeing some people say she obviously doesn't mean it that way. She supports LGBTQIA people. No, she fucking doesn't. If you use language that contributes to hatred and oppression, that's never benign. When Shia fucking Raychik welcomes you to her side of the table, you've picked your seat. You've shown people who you are. Using the language Nazis used to mainstream their hate isn't a dog whistle, it's a goddamn foghorn. A lot of these people, they forget where they came from. People like Anna, used to maybe struggle a little bit and then became successful, came into some money. She's doing all right. She's, she's not, struggling to put food on the table. She's going to eat, But she looks at all these other people. She looks back at them. And she thinks to herself, hey, sorry, but I'm better than you now. Anna's kind of maybe like Trey, only you'd gotten out of the hood earlier, and then Ricky gets shot, and Trey's like, well, maybe you shouldn't be hanging around violent thugs in the hood, stop being poor. And then you get real mad at Trey because he should know better. I mean, his dad is motherfucking Furious Styles. The man lays it down. I mean, he puts out some serious knowledge on how those in power use the hood to keep people down. And here's Trey just, doing the opposite, going backwards. I mean, that's not the plot of Boys in the Hood, but, if it was, then, it'd be like Anna, when Anna's doing right here, going backwards. betraying, the people she came up with. Trey didn't do that, He was ride or die with Ricky. Ricky died in his arms, He even had mad love for Doughboy, He wanted to get revenge, but he realized maybe that's not, the best idea. Now, I'm not going to say that Anna's actually really struggled or, had to worry about, being poor or anything, but there's all those people, part of the progressive movement. Those are all people that she came up with, all people that supported her when, TYT was this little ring-ding operation. And, and then all of a sudden it becomes, the largest independent media network. Then the next thing you know, Anna's hanging out at exclusive nightclubs, railing fat lines of privilege in the bathroom. That's just, it's just your brain on privilege, man. It's what it does to you. Privilege. You get a modicum of success and you start to forget what got you there. You can't see the forest for the trees because you're too busy in the high-rise penthouse. You're looking out the other condos and the sunset, and then maybe you look down and you can see all the people and they look like ants. You just want to step on them. And it is possible to be successful and still recognize those you came up with and not leave them behind either, or, turn your back on them. Another TYT alum, Son Piker, he broke off. He started doing his Twitch thing, all the time, 8 hours a day, 24/7, whatever. And he's held true to the exact same values and fundamental ideals that, he had before he became successful, He's not like, I got mine, fuck you. He's like, I got mine, but you all should be up here too. But there's, structures of power that are preventing this from happening and, causing a big problem. I mean, he bought a nice expensive house in LA. He's got a real expensive sports car. Hell, he could fuck all your mothers and your wives if he wanted to. You seen that man? He's goddamn beautiful. But he's never strayed away from his message of oppressive structures of power, how they take away your rights and hold you down, prevent you from unionizing and having free health care. And he's not out there telling people, well, maybe he should have complied if he didn't want to get shot. He's out there as one of the first people to tell you that it's wrong that a unarmed black man got shot by a police officer for no goddamn reason. There's a man I look up to. His name's Mr. T, and he's got a video called Mr. T's Be Somebody or Be Somebody's Fool. And he says,
Roots. You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you're from.
To tell you the truth, I have no freaking idea what the hell that even means. But it sounds nice. I'll put my goddamn dick and balls in a vice before I'd, make Mr. T pity me for being a goddamn fool.